coming at you live from the Bet MGM Sportsbook on the beautiful lawn of State Farm Stadium. It's me, it's your girl,
DJ Mac,
and the one, the only, Shawn DePaz.
Yo.
Thank you guys so much for joining us at this awkward 5 o'clock time on a Friday.
Hey, we gotta do what we gotta do.
We got a little out of order today. The Sun's breaking news kind of threw everything off, but lucky for us, we get to talk about it right now. There's so much to talk about. Before we do that, though, congratulations are in order for Mr. Shawn DePaz, who entered the podcast transfer portal earlier this week, moving over from Sun Devils to DBACKS.
Yeah. Thank
Congrats.
you. I'm very excited about it.
I don't know if that's a congratulations as much as like Shawn did something different.
No, it's a congratulations. Well, yeah, I guess that's kind of more of a slander towards. It's not. It's a congratulations because I'm doing baseball, which I love. Not a congratulations because I'm leading Sun Devils. I'm definitely sad about that. But yeah, no, I'm very excited about it. We get to talk some DBACKS today, so
it's always a good thing when you get to talk about baseball, which we will be talking about a little bit later in the show. In the effort of being transparent with our fam, because, you know, everyone in the chat's our family. Daniel, Connor, Jan, Ryan, Charles, what's up, everybody? They're all our family, right?
Charles is here.
Yeah, Charles is here with us.
Family.
I feel like I need to be honest.
Oh, boy.
I am wearing this hat for a reason. It's a very embarrassing reason, so nobody make fun of me for this hat.
Oh, no. You got like a big zit or something?
No, I got my eyebrows laminated this morning, and they tinted them. And when they do it for the first time, they are so dark. And I have such blonde hair. I look insane.
I mean, they're dark. I don't know if I would have noticed, but I'm also not looking you in your face every day. So.
I look insane right now, so I need to cover up my terrible eyebrow situation. So please, nobody make fun of me for my hat. It is a Suns hat.
I didn't notice. I was just like, oh, she's rocking a hat today. She's going Suns. Frank Vogel got hired. She's feeling good.
Yeah, I'm in my Suns gear trying to hide my very dark eyebrows. All right. Well, speaking of Frank Vogel, we're going to talk about him. But before we do that, definitely have to give a shout out to our friends at Four Peaks, especially because tomorrow is our PHNX Diamondbacks takeover at Chase Field. We still have some tickets available, so if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, head on over to gophnx.com/events and pick up some tickets. We are going to be doing a little pregame meetup at the Four Peaks Draft Room, which I'm super excited about. We also get to go and watch batting practice, which is going to be great.
Jealous.
I know. Shawn's not going to be there.
I think I have a flight this week or tonight, so I'm not going to be there, but Go there, eat a hot dog, drink a beer in my honor.
Yeah, we're going to be pounding some Rattle On Red Ale. I'm super excited for that.
Okay.
Definitely one of my favorite Four Peaks beer. I never really thought I was going to be a Red Ale girl, but for Four Peaks.
Yeah, same. I do like the Rattle On. It is quite good.
Yeah, absolutely. If you haven't been to the Four Peaks Draft Room at Chase Field, definitely check it out. It's open to all fans. You don't have to get a ticket for it. It's located on the suite level down the first base line in deep right field. That sounds like I'm calling a home run.
Yeah. Down the first base
Nick
line.
Castellanos.
Right.
So thank you so much to our friends at Four Peaks. We are super excited to go to the draft room tomorrow. Don't forget, you can check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub on Instagram to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. And you must be 21 years or older to drink Four Peaks responsibly. Also want to give a quick shout out to our friends at Illegal Pete's.
Oh, yeah. They came through this week.
They had a taco bar at the office.
And like more chips than I've ever been in the presence of. They gave us like 2 whole boxes of chips and like 5 bags of chips. That was crazy.
I could have swam in the boxes of chips that they gave us. So I was stoked about the Build Your Own Taco Bar. Thank you so much, Illegal Pete's, for bringing in food to the office. Don't forget, you can kick off your week with Margarita Mondays at Illegal Pete's. They are exclusive to Arizona locations. $3 margs all day, every Monday. I love a good margarita.
That's a vibe.
A little lime, a little salt. Don't forget about Taco Tuesdays.
You're a salt rim?
I'm a sugar rim, actually.
Oh, really? I'm a huge salt rim guy. I love
sugar
salt
rim girl.
Hey.
Taco Tuesdays, $2 tacos every Tuesday. I can attest. I just had these tacos. They are to die for. Enjoy your favorite chicken, pork, veggie tacos for just $2.
What is your taco? Like, what kind of go? How do you go?
I'm a steak girl.
Yeah,
like
same,
through and through.
Same.
Always.
Although if money's no object, I'm going double portion steak chicken.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So swing by your favorite Illegal Pete's location and start your week off the right way. All right, Shawn.
Hey, what's poppin'?
There's a new head coach in town.
Yeah, Doc Rivers, right?
Yeah, no. Unfortunately not.
Unfortunately.
Well,
I was going to say, fortunately, I was happy it wasn't him.
Shams waking us all up this morning with some breaking news. I was still half asleep when the news broke. I'm not an early riser.
Stuck in the middle of full stop traffic on the 10 because there was an accident this morning. So I was thankfully I wasn't moving, so I could actually check my phone.
I was sleeping.
Must be nice.
Shams hit us with some breaking news this morning. The Phoenix Suns have reportedly agreed to a deal with Frank Vogel that is a 5-year, $31 million contract to make him the next head coach of the Phoenix Suns. And I want to know, Shawn, what was your first reaction to this news?
My first, I was just like, oh, okay, there's a coach. I wasn't like, not that I really had a time frame or anything, but I was just driving to work. I wasn't expecting to have breaking news on the way here. But listen, in a situation like this where there was no one that I was just like dead set on, outside of Ty Lue, I would have loved, but that obviously was clear wasn't going to happen. Like at that point, I was just like, okay, like whoever and at that point, I would rather take an established name, someone who's proven that they can win.
Yeah.
Which he's done. He obviously was a coach of those terrific Indiana Pacers teams back with the Roy Hibbert and Prime PG, and then he had coach of the Magic, which was whatever.
Magic stint was not great.
Like unless you're coaching like Jameer Nelson, Hedo Turkoglu.
Are we leaving out Danny Granger?
Okay, true. Yeah, so I'll respect to Danny Granger.
Can't leave out Danny Granger.
Side note, I miss when the Magic were good. Like prime, like Jameer Nelson, Hedo Turkoglu days, those were awesome. And then obviously did a thing with the Lakers.
Yes,
so
he did a thing with the Lakers.
He's proven that he can. Not only can he win, but he can manage big personalities. Like if you, so
yeah, jeez, it doesn't get any bigger than the personalities that he was coaching the Lakers.
Yeah, so if you can do that, and then you look at this situation, it's a team with personalities. It's a team with one of the best players of all time. A team with a guy with Devin Booker who's team it is, and then a guy whose name is DeAndre Ayton. I'm not going to pass any kind of judgment. So this seems like a pretty good hire, and the people that I respect who follow the Suns, mainly our PHNX Suns people, they seem to feel it's a good hire, so I'm on board.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you that maybe don't know the most about Frank Vogel, totally fine. By the way, it's not like you need to be have an index of information on him. He has been a head coach in the NBA since 2010. We kind of mentioned he had a stint with Orlando Magic, the Indiana Pacers, and most recently the Los Angeles Lakers. He did go to Kentucky, so D-Book, little Kentucky connection there. Yeah, everyone goes to Kentucky apparently. So kind of interesting that they have that in common. Obviously, that's probably not why he got hired as the head coach. I'm sure that was just like a nice little fun fact that he got to throw in there. And he also won an NBA championship in 2020 with the Lakers. A lot of people call that a Mickey Mouse championship, me being one of them because I'm the biggest Lakers hater on the face of the planet. Hate the Lakers. But he is an NBA champion. He is an NBA champion head coach. Adam in the comments saying, I'm a Lakers fan and not a fan of Frank Vogel. He stopped playing
Montreal
Harrell in the playoffs, and he was their motor. The Lakers lost the series. He benched him. Not a good coach for many reasons. Well, that doesn't make me feel very good. I do like to be a Laker hater, though. And so I feel like this hire is just a little bit difficult for me because I don't like the Lakers. I don't like being associated with the Lakers.
This is the NBA. Coaches get recycled so often. Any coach you got hired was bound to be connected to some franchise. You don't like.
Yeah, of course. But when the news first dropped, I was definitely surprised. I wasn't expecting them to announce it today. That's for sure. I was thinking maybe early next week. I was also pulling a little bit for Kevin Young. I was a KY girl a little bit. That sounds terrible.
That's crazy.
Nobody put that anywhere. Time out. Kevin Young. I was a big fan of Kevin Young. So I was a little surprised they didn't go in that direction just because everything that I've been hearing in the recent weeks was pointing to him being the next head coach of the Phoenix Suns. Which we will talk about a little bit later because Gambo from 98.7 debunked that a little bit. But I was surprised, honestly. I have a lot of mixed feelings on it, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I was definitely shocked.
Yeah.
And if you guys have been following the head coaching search, you knew that the Suns have narrowed down the field to 5 candidates. It was Doc Rivers, Nick Nurse, Kevin Young, Jordi Fernandez, and then obviously Frank Vogel. Nick Nurse, I think out of all those 5 options was probably my front runner. And then he got hired by the 76ers. So when that news broke, I was definitely disappointed because I think if I had to pick from those 5 candidates, Nick Nurse was my number 1 choice. And then he got hired. And then I was like, oh boy, this is getting a little scary. We're in the scary hours problem. I was worried that they were going to pull an Arizona Cardinals and wait forever to hire a head coach and let all the good candidates go, and then we'd be left with the bottom of a barrel and then have to illegally recruit.
The bottom of the barrel?
We'll talk about that later. They'd have to illegally recruit away a head coach from someone else. But yeah, so I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings on it. Obviously, we're not going to know if this was the right decision until it pans out and he gets to coach this team. I think obviously if this is what the team was comfortable with, because I'm sure, Matt Ishbia talked to some players about it, especially Devin Booker.
Oh, yeah.
So if this is what Devin Booker was okay with, then as long as Devin Booker is happy, I'm happy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold. Is that weird? Is that bad for me to be sold? Not sold?
No, I mean, I think it's pretty natural to have hesitations. You never know. I'm like, there's rare situations where it's like, okay, obviously this is a guy. But outside of that, others, I think it's natural for you to be a little hesitant about your coach. Shane really wants me to read this comment. Gilbert Arbaio in the chat said, both bubble finalists had successful seasons this year, wouldn't you say? And Shane has an opinion.
Did somebody say bubble?
Was that really just why you wanted me to read it?
Is that the only reason?
He was back there. He's like, read it out loud.
You
didn't even have anything to say? Oh, you bastard.
That was the only reason he joined us. Easy in the comments saying, not really excited about Vogel, but we'll see, I guess. Yeah, so I guess I'm not alone with underwhelmed.
I will say it seemed online that the public opinion was rather negative. But let's be real, most people don't know what they're talking about. So, again, I'm going to trust the people that I know basketball. And I mean, like I said, every single coach hired in the history of man, good or bad, has had people who are on both sides of it, who are happy about it, who are anti it.
Yeah, totally.
So
you're never going to make 100% of the fan base happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Even when they traded for freaking Kevin Durant, there were people that were pissed about it.
No, so. Yeah, and I'll say is that, because I said this a lot when the Sun Devils hired Kenny Dillingham, is remember how you feel right now. Because everybody at the end of the Herm saga was like, oh, Herm was such a bad hire. But I know not all of y'all thought that when it happened. So, everyone's going to have their opinions on it. But at the end of the day, he's a coach that proved that he can win with star players, with important players.
Even though it's Mickey Mouse.
Stop it.
I'm never going to stop hating on them. I'm sorry. I call the Lakers title and the Dodgers title Mickey Mouse titles. So forever and always an LA hater. Sorry for all of our LA fans in the chat if you are one. Connor saying, I'm also not sold on Frank. Joseph saying, I really think Vogel has potential to be a good coach if he has good players and their healthy history has shown he's been successful. So mixed reactions. And I think all of those are valid for sure. Is there a candidate you would have rather had? I think I kind of mentioned I was pulling for Kevin Young a little bit. Is there someone you would have preferred in that pool?
I mentioned previously liking Jordy only because it was a young guy and it was not in the organization, which were two of my kind of things. Yeah. After listening to a lot, particularly something Gerald had said when talking about KY, just that he knew that there were instances, there was times where he filled in for Monty, right? And he said the biggest difference between being a head coach and an assistant coach is that when you're an assistant, you say things and the coach can decide whether or not they listen to him. When you're a head coach, your decisions are your decisions, which, as Gerald pointed out, implies that there were times where KY disagreed with Monty, but, he's assistant. That's how that works. But he clearly was really well liked by a lot of the players, it seems. So I started getting really on board with KY just because it seemed like he would have been a good gap between the culture that Monty built, which was obviously part of why the Suns have been so successful recently, and a change that clearly was needed because the Monty thing had grown stale.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think that's why I was so on the Kevin Young train, is because I am on record. I just had a tweet about it the other day about not being a fan of the decision to let Monty go, but we can't do anything about it now. The decision's been made. We had to move on. And so I think I was pulling so much for Kevin Young because he was a part of the culture that was instilled by Monty, which I think is so valuable to this organization, because when Monty got here, there was no culture. It was a shit show, and Monty really did a lot to rebuild the culture of this organization. And obviously Kevin Young was a part of that. And so I felt, I think, a little bit more comfortable with Kevin Young because I knew that he was familiar with that, but also it satisfied the need for change because we can't get blown out 2 straight years in the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. I totally get it. I understand the criticism surrounding Monty Williams. So I think that's why I was a little bit more sold on him, because to me, it felt less scary. And if you know me, you know I hate change. It's hard for me to cope with.
I feel you on that, but my mindset is when I have rooted for teams that have been consistently mediocre or just downright bad all the time, and there's nothing I hate more. Because I spent 15 years of my life rooting for a middling football team, right?
Yeah.
And it was every year it was like, okay, there's just kind of like, oh, we'll promote an assistant or whatever. And it was the same, or the GM or the president was always kind of still there. And it was the same shit every single year. Anytime you got a little bit of hope, it was the same stuff, the same culture. And so I'm generally a fan of just a clean break. You need to change everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the world's not that black and white, right? Like I think there's a happy medium.
Yeah, for sure. Scott Rich in the comments saying something interesting. Vogel is a good puppet when it comes to veteran teams. And that kind of goes back to what we were saying about he was a head coach of a team that has huge personalities on it. You know, we call him Lee GM.
Yeah, but
coach. So he obviously.
But Braun is a different animal, though. Like
Braun is.
KD is more like KD. I think has shown at this point in his career, and I mean honestly, for a lot of his career, that he doesn't really have I mean, he did a little bit, I guess, in Brooklyn, but he's not like a big like. He's not a GM like in the way that LeBron is, right?
Yeah.
Like in terms in Phoenix here, it seemed like he was more than happy kind of taking that second seat to D-Book and leaving this being D-Book's team. Same thing in Golden State. So there's not like a guy like that necessarily who's kind of like a shadow coach, right?
But also, like, you know, Book and KD probably are going to be working together all summer, getting that rapport. And so you have to wonder if maybe that was a line of thinking with this hiring decision is, you know, we kind of want these players to have, you know, a little bit more say. And obviously Monty was very set in his ways, and you saw that relationship with DA and how it didn't really work out. And so I wonder if maybe that was like a line of thinking with this hire.
Yeah, I mean, that's very possible, right? Like that could have been the mindset, is that ultimately these guys need more freedom, or they just need to be able to play their kind of game, whatever that may be. And maybe Frank Vogel fits that. I obviously don't know why Matt Ishbia and company made this decision. But that is a very good possibility for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott coming again and saying Monty is good at developing young teams. Vogel manages vet teams.
Exactly.
So,
which is why, I mean, it is. Yeah, that's why you move him to Detroit. That's why he gets hired by Detroit, and that's why they're willing to pay him as much money as they did,
Detroit
because
has so many
they
young
have
guys.
so many young players. And he proved he can do exactly that. And there's a very good chance you're in the Detroit's in this situation in 10 years, right? Or not 10 years, but however many years they're sitting there, and they've been to the playoffs 4 years in a row, but they've gotten knocked out in the second round, and they've made one conference final, and then you have to go find that coach that gets you on. Like, I mean, we keep comparing this to the Golden State Warriors because they were in a very similar situation. Yeah,
absolutely. Adam in the comments again making a great point, which we are going to talk about in a little bit, is with big time scorers that the Suns have, it would be nice to have an offensive minded coach that realizes we can outscore teams, kind of like Mike Malone. We're going to go through the pros and cons of Vogel and his style as a coach, but I think that was another thing I was concerned about. Is I think Vogel is definitely more of a defensive minded guru, and this defense isn't really what the Suns struggle with. Like, they're pretty good defensively.
Yeah.
So another thing that I definitely got stressed about, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more in depth in a second.
First off, you just disrespected the hell out of the bubble. The bubble popped up on the screen, and you disrespected
I did
the
it.
bubble.
I'm sorry. Wait, Bubble Shane, come back. Bubble Shane, come back. Here he is. Bubble Shane, everybody. Hi. Your mic's not on.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello. Let me out of here. I was just gonna say it's a total transition period with Monty Williams. Like, once you're done with this toy, your kid got too old.
Yeah, exactly. Right, you need a new bed. The bed. He's not going to sit in his crib forever. Or his race car bed.
I don't like comparing.
They grow out of it.
I know, but laying down on him, I don't know.
But I can definitely see, though, that like they had capped out with Monty. Like, Monty had done everything that he could do, and working with the young players, helping develop them character-wise, like getting them to be leaders. Like, he did all of that, and maybe that was his ceiling. And obviously, like, people were frustrated with him schematically, the decisions he was making, like head coach on the floor. So I get it. I totally understand it.
I was just having this conversation with somebody. I was Damon yesterday. I said some people are built to be overachievers, right? Like, some people, they are built to overachieve when the expectations are low. But when there is no such thing as exceeding expectations, when the expectation is the peak, not everyone's built for that. And hopefully, I mean, Frank Vogel has proven that he can at least not get in the way of getting to the peak. So that's a good start.
Something I wanted to talk about, too, because we were talking a lot about Kevin Young and how we were kind of on the Kevin Young train. We weren't the only ones. There were a lot of people on the internet that were also on the Kevin Young train, including Bill Simmons, who tweeted, "I'm taking the L. Was Kevin Young for a couple weeks. Then Ishbia decided he wanted someone splashier and more experienced and shifted gears. What's interesting is Booker was pushing hard for Kevin Young, but Vogel is an excellent coach. Can't wait to find out what happened." So Bill was also on the train of hearing, like, you know, Kevin Young is probably going to get this position. Gambo debunked it a little bit. John Gambodoro at 98.7, he said, "I believe Ishbia was always focused on a championship caliber coach, and that was Vogel from the front runner. Since his interview last week, Book liked Kevin Young. but the reports that he pushed for him are a little over-exaggerated. So obviously these are all reports and rumors, and we don't really know what's going on within the Suns organization because we're not a part of it. But it sounds like from what Gambo was saying, Vogel was it. And the thing that really pushed him over the edge was he is a championship caliber coach.
Yeah.
And you can't argue with that.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Ishbia obviously did not buy this team to lose in the playoffs. Like he bought this team to win rings, right? And so I understand when you make that big of an investment, your patience is going to be low. You need to win now.
Yeah.
Especially considering the roster you had, the investment you made in Kevin Durant, which all seem like that. The Kevin Durant thing seems like a Matt Ishbia play. Like obviously it was talked about a lot at the time, but James Jones had opportunities before and didn't want to pull that trigger for whatever reason. Ishbia shows up and they do, right? So it very much seems like a Matt Ishbia move. You got to win now.
Yes, absolutely.
Not only before your investment becomes worthless, but before the city turns on you. Because you have, I mean, obviously for very different reasons, but the city turned on the last owner.
Yeah.
And if you're not successful, and let's be real, Matt Ishbia has not been perfect. The debacle that happened very early on with Isaiah Thomas, who still kind of seems to be lingering in the background all the time, that could be a problem too. So, you know, you go win, and people will care a lot less about you being a jackass off the court if you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think something that you talked about is the timeline, and I have been beating the timeline drum for as long as I can remember with this Phoenix Suns team. Like, we are in win now mode. Like, I thought this year was the year, but then, you know, everything kind of played out with injuries and lack of bench depth and all of that. But knowing that, you know, we have a very small window with Kevin Durant still under contract, the fact that he's getting older, Chris Paul is ancient.
Oh my God.
Our timeline is like pressing down and squeezing on us. And so I feel maybe a little bit more okay with the decision to hire Frank Vogel because he is a proven head coach with head coach leadership experience. And I think Kevin Young and Jordi Fernandez were both kind of candidates that you might have been taking a little bit more of a flyer on because they were going to be first-time head coaches. And I don't remember if you remember the last time the Suns had a first-time head coach, Igor Kokoshkov. It did not go very well. It did not go well. I'm just throwing that out there. It was really bad. So I also think that the experience is going to play a huge role in this hiring decision. And if I'm going to give an upside to Frank, it's that he is experienced and he does have that. And so we're going to go through the upsides of Frank Vogel because I know I'm a little down. I'm talking about that I'm not really on board with this. I'm a little unsure, but there are a lot of upsides that I think we have to talk about because this is a big deal for the Phoenix Suns. Like this is the head coach that is hopefully going to win the city a ring for the first time ever.
Like there's I don't think there has ever been a higher. Maybe in the, I mean, obviously I haven't been here forever, so you could fact check me on this, but I feel like probably in a very long time, at the very least, the higher where it's most like, okay, you better win year one. Like the expectation immediately is championship.
Yes.
This is not. There's no like rebuild. There is no window. There is like you win this year, or you probably are not going to have a job not much longer. You're not going to get fired after 1 year most likely. But you know, if you don't win the first contract, you're not getting a second one. Yeah. So yeah, the pressure is most certainly there.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's some upsides we got to break down.
He's got more hair than Monty, as Hello points out.
I love bald heads. I'm a bald head girly. I don't think there's anything wrong with baldies. No?
There's nothing wrong with baldies. Like Monty wasn't a bad looking guy. My only problem with baldies is when you don't come home. Like if you're starting to lose your hair, just come home. Take it all off.
Just let it go. Just give up. Okay. Frank Vogel does have more hair. He also has experience taking multiple teams through deep playoff runs, something that's very important, deep playoff run experience. He won a title in the last 5 years. He is a lifetime winning coach with a .526 winning percentage. He is 49-39 he has a playoff record of 49-39. So again, winning head coach overall, winning head coach in the playoffs, deep playoff run experience. I think obviously his biggest upside is he is a brilliant defensive-minded coach, which again, the Suns don't necessarily struggle with, so wasn't a huge area of concern, but it's something that people need, like specific players need help with, like DA could improve defensively.
Yeah.
And now that we don't have that contentious relationship between DA and Monty Williams, maybe Frank Vogel is the guy to help wake D up.
100%. And I'll say this. Do not jump down my throat. Let me explain what I'm saying before I say it.
Oh, boy.
DeAndre Ayton is not a shred of the player that Anthony Davis is. But Anthony Davis was a somewhat inconsistent player. Obviously, he dealt with injury problems, whatever. He had his best season under Frank Vogel in that. Obviously, again, it was a bubble year, but he was very, very good in those finals. So in terms of getting, I guess, the best out of an inconsistent player, he did that. And honestly, he did the same thing with Roy Hibbert. Roy Hibbert fell off the face of the map, dude. He was like one of the best centers in basketball, and he disappeared.
Yeah.
And I mean, Paul George was obviously an amazing player at that time. Like, he has shown on a number of occasions that he can kind of bring the best out of some guys, especially guys who are inconsistent, which when you're looking at a guy like DA, that could be huge.
Paul George's defense took a huge step with Vogel as well.
Yeah.
Like, that was a big piece.
At that time, Paul George was like that guy.
Yeah,
he was like one of the best players in the league.
360 windmill dunk.
Yeah.
Before he broke his leg, man, he was so good. He was explosive.
So I'm excited to see what he can do with certain players that need defense to be worked on, especially DA. Jan Paul Edward Didios in our comments saying, is DA staying? If you would have asked me this question like maybe 2 weeks ago, I would have said, I don't really know. I don't think so. But now that I know who the next head coach of the Phoenix Suns is, and we just talked about all the ways that he is able to work with players that fall off the map, and I'm not saying DA has fallen off the map. Please don't come for me. But obviously he's not.
But I mean, he did at the end of the year. He did.
He's not the player that we expected him to be.
He fell off the map in the playoffs. That's for damn sure.
I think the chances of DA staying are a lot better. I think the extent to which the relationship between Monty Williams and DA deteriorated was more than even we knew.
Yeah.
We obviously saw the visible side effects of that when they were yelling at each other on the sidelines, when DA said they hadn't spoken at all in the offseason. But I think it probably was a little bit more extensive than anyone really knew. And so now that I guess cloud has cleared over DA's head and there's a new head coach that he can work with, I think the Suns aren't, as an organization, aren't at a point where they would be willing to give up on DA yet. I think the contract that he has is fine. It's obviously more team friendly than what DA had wanted for himself in a contract. So it's not like they're really under the gun with I feel like DA being here and getting to work with Frank Vogel, I think it's a good chance that this is going to work for him. And
I mean, I think it gives you the best chance, of that working. I don't know. Obviously, you have no idea. Maybe DA despises Frank Vogel and has his entire life, and this just was the final nail in the coffin. You don't know, but
Frank Vogel
I think it gives you a chance.
Hello brings up such a funny point. Do you remember this whole rule of verticality thing with Roy Hibbert?
Yes.
When they
I
think don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Frank Vogel probably got Hibbert to start doing that. Frank Vogel basically caused the NBA to enforce a new rule, to change a rule. The rule was as long as you're going straight up, it's fine. But before it didn't matter if you jumped into the guy driving. And he did that to LeBron so much in those Eastern Conference Finals, I want to say, that they had to change the rule next year.
Someone also brought up George Hill, which is a name I completely forgot about.
Yeah,
he had some years. He averaged 16 points at one year under Frank Vogel.
Name a random NBA player. Go. Just kidding. Don't do that. Hello in the comments is being
Aaron
hilarious.
Alperen Sengun.
Yeah.
Hello is in the comments being hilarious. Upside, he will talk to players in the offseason. Yeah.
Hey.
Huge upside.
DA or Monty talked to players in the offseason, just not DA.
Just not one of them. So, yeah, I mean, looking at all those upsides, I think there's a lot to get excited about. And the only really downside that I came up with when kind of analyzing Frank Vogel as a head coach in his history is I think offense isn't necessarily his strong suit. Not to say that it's bad. I just don't think he's as good of an offensive-minded head coach as he is defensively. But this is where your staff and the assistants that you bring in are so critical, because Frank Vogel is known for being a head coach that listens and will work with other people, other assistants, and he allows others to scheme the offense. It's on record. He's done it before with other teams. So I think now that we know who the head coach is and we're just going to wait to see how that pans out, I think who he hires as his assistants is crucial. And it's really, really important because the things that he has, the downsides, he's got to figure out how to work with the assistants. And so that brings up, again, Kevin Young, who we've been talking about a lot, because Kevin Young is currently the associate head coach for the Phoenix Suns. He was a candidate for the head coach job. His future is more or less in question. Again, going back to Gambo, he tweeted it today because Gambo is Gambo. He has heard something about Kevin, sorry. And he tweeted, Vogel has been my choice this last week. The Suns liked that he is a championship coach and a defensive guru. There is a good chance Kevin Young will stay on as the top assistant. Seems like it is his choice from what I have heard. So I don't know if the Suns have talked to Frank and said, hey, we really love Kevin. I think you guys would make a great pair. And then Frank got to talk to Kevin in the interview process. I don't know how any of that worked, but for whatever reason, it sounds like if Kevin wants to stay as the associate head coach, it's his choice. Which I would be interested to see if he does. I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of like maybe I'm a scorned candidate because I feel like I'm qualified for this head coaching job and I didn't get it. So why would I stay with the team that like didn't give it to me? And he was also sought after as a head coach for other teams. This last season and this season as well. So I would love it if Kevin stayed.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like I said, he started growing on me a little bit more, and you're hearing that the players like him. I mean, I have, like I said, normally my mindset and stuff like this is kind of clean house, but I don't necessarily think that the culture was so good and they were so close. I don't think that necessarily is mandatory. So I think it would be good. I think it is a good way to kind of maintain that culture, leave someone there that players are comfortable with, and still kind of get the change you need by hiring a new head coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I, for one, am definitely pro Kevin staying. I think one of the biggest upsides he had is obviously the familiarity with the players and the culture. And so if we can keep that culture piece intact, I think that's huge. But, you said you would be favor in cleaning house. There have been some names that have already been floated out, which is crazy how fast this news cycle moves. So far, I think the only name that we've really heard of for the top assistant coaching job would be David Fizdale, who also was with Vogel in LA.
My G.
Are you a Fizdale?
I rock with David Fizdale, like on a personal level, but it's like if you know kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anybody that coached the Knicks at one point scares me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
But
that's fair.
At this point, I do feel like I'm pretty like I think Monty or KY would be the guy that I want there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do think there is something to say, and maybe this is kind of like a really casual take, but like I think I like kind of having that kind of pedigree, having a former head coach as your assistant or as your associate, and having obviously another head coach as your head coach. Like I think there's something to say for a team having that amount of pedigree, but I still kind of side with KY.
Yeah. Chris Milton in the comments saying, I just want KY to stay. Vogel, why can I never say his name? Ted Newble. Is that right? Yes. Vogel is a great defensive coach, but needs an offensive mind. KY needs to stay.
No, Ted Lubin.
Ted Lubin. Oh, close
it's
enough.
Just backwards.
Scott saying KY most likely won't stay. Jan saying KY will learn more from Frank than Monty.
Well, I don't even think it's about learning more from Frank than Monty, but it's about learning something else. You learned everything you can learn from Monty. You get a new person in there, you're learning a whole bunch from them too. So, I mean, I do think this would be a great place for KY if he does not end up getting a head coach job. I'm like if there's a head coach job you can go take it. Like I'm not one of those kind of people where like you're gonna hold someone back for your own gain. Like go get yours, young man. But it would be, I do think, an ideal situation if he does.
It would be freaking ideal. Chino, what's up, Chino, in the comments saying Kevin Young greater than Frank. So Chino's on the Kevin Young train, like I was at the start of this whole thing. I genuinely, my ideal dream situation is Kevin Young stays as the associate head coach of this team. I don't know if that's going to happen because I do think there is a little bit of I'm a legit head coach contender. The fact that you guys didn't want me and I've been here for how many years is a little upsetting. So
but I mean, there are certain people who like, and it's obviously an incredibly different situation, but I can't help but think of a guy like Shawn, head coach or former head coach for ASU, who obviously was the running backs coach, hired or promoted today, or not, I guess promoted, but it was made interim once Monty was fired, and then or did I say Monty? After Herm was fired, and then. They demoted him back to running backs coach once they hired Kenny Dillingham, and he seems to be just kind of embracing that and just rolling with that. And there are those kinds of people, right?
There are cases
if KY really loves, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker as players, or just really believes that they can get a ring this year, and whatever it is, or really believes in the culture, really just whatever it is. Like sometimes there are those kinds of people that really just. They believe in that kind of thing. So maybe KY is that kind of person, even if he does have an opportunity to go somewhere else. And I mean, obviously, if the Milwaukee Bucks come calling, that's maybe a little different situation because you can win a ring right away. But, being an associate head coach for a couple of years and winning a ring versus kind of toiling in mediocrity for some mid-franchise, there's reasons to believe that being that associate head coach could be better. So,
can I say something?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I've seen this so much. Jose, I love you. You're one of my favorite people in our chat. But I've seen the no offense take so much, and first of all, it's an NBA head coach. He knows how to run an offense.
Yeah.
It might not be as efficient. You have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Like,
there's a reason he won a ring with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You have enough talent in the NBA. It almost doesn't even matter if you have an offense. And again, that's what you like Mac said, is a guy that listens to assistants. You get whether it's KY or not, you get a good assistant that knows offense. Then that problem is void. It's not a problem. Not an issue.
That's the biggest upside to Vogel, is like he's not it's my way or the highway type of head coach. It's been documented that he is willing to work with his assistants, scheme with them, let them scheme. And so, Edward taught in the comments saying, would Kevin Young pick up the offense and Vogel focus on defense? I think in an ideal world, that would be what would happen, because Vogel is a great defensive-minded guru. And so, and I'm not saying, I hope no one took away from this conversation that I think Kevin Vogel is a terrible offensive head coach.
Kevin Vogel, you did again.
Oh, sorry. Dang it. Frank Vogel. Sorry. There's too many names.
Today.
Sorry. It's
Kevins
Friday,
and
you
Franks
guys.
and
Frank
Devins
Sinatra. Oh my God. Don't get me started.
Fly
Frank
me
Vogel.
to the moon.
Frank Vogel, I'm not saying he's bad at offense at all. And I haven't said that this whole time. So I don't want people to think that that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying offense isn't his strong suit like defense is. Like if you have to pick one, he's going to pick defense because that's what he's really good at. So it's not like he's bad at offense. I'm just saying, like, if he has an offensive-minded associate head coach that is great with that, he's willing and able to work with them, you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and
I mean, the best of both worlds.
I'm not going to go into it. I just got last thing to Jose is they didn't have Anthony Davis, and then you saw what happened when they played a full season really without Anthony Davis. They missed the damn playoffs. So Anthony Davis is the best player on that team right now. And was the most important player on that team. So without him, they didn't really stand a chance against the best team in the NBA at the time, the Phoenix Suns. So.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I'm about to wade into some scary waters. Our comments might go scary hours. Now that the decision has been made, and we know that Frank Vogel is the next head coach of your Phoenix Suns, the man that is hopefully going to lead this organization to a championship for the first time in organization history. Are you on board now with the decision to let Monty Williams go?
I was on board from the moment it happened. I've been on board ever since. I was on board before it happened. I'm pretty sure I said this on the show last week. You can make me the head coach, and I still think firing Monty would be a good move, only because I think we in my mind, we know what the ceiling for Monty was. He was not winning a ring with this team. And so if you're fine with just being a playoff team, then fine, keep Monty. But if your goal was to win a ring, you had to change something. So yes, I was good with Monty when Monty getting fired when it happened. And I'm still good with it.
Okay. And if you're in the comments, you're watching right now, let us know if you
are. And also, as a basketball fan, I'm happy that he gets the opportunity to coach a young team in Detroit. Like, I think that's going to be great for basketball and those players specifically. Mm-hmm. So that's exciting. And especially exciting when I don't think he would have done anything if he stayed here with the Suns.
I just don't know how much the people in Detroit are going to like him saying, just dunk the freaking basketball and not swearing.
Also, can you imagine having to move from Phoenix to Detroit?
Oh, don't do that to Detroit.
Bummer.
But yeah. Listen, hey, I have a
Shawn of all people defending a city or state.
I have a soft spot for the Great Lakes, the industrial those cities that have gotten their soul stripped out over the last half century.
Soft spot on the top of your head.
I do. Don't we all?
I'm a Detroit hater because I'm a Red Wings hater, so I will never stand.
I love the Wings. I'm not gonna lie. I have a soft spot for the Wings. My best friend growing up was a Red Wings fan.
Terrible.
My best friend growing up was a Red Wings fan. Pavel Datsyuk was an Electric Factory. And then Osgood, I think, had that Cage as a goalie, so it was just an interesting team. Plus,
I can't believe you're my co-host. We are so opposite. It's not funny. Anyways, Scott in the comments saying no one's winning a championship with this lineup. I wanted to talk about this before we move on because we're going to talk about the Diamondbacks in a second. This is the other piece that I am obviously worried about because this lineup is not the ideal lineup. The bench depth is terrifying. Mm-hmm. There's so many holes that need to be addressed top to bottom. And so now that we've found the head coach, we need to see what this head coach can do in terms of getting the pieces here through relationships. Obviously, I know that's not the whole reason why players come here.
Not just that, but deals. It's not really fully Frank's job. Like James Jones got a job to do.
James Jones, Matt Ishbia, they gotta get some players here to Arizona because we need them. So now that we figured out who the head coach is, I'm going to be extra dialed into trading and all of the free agent acquisition talks because this is not the roster that's going to win a championship. No. And I know that's crazy to say because you have Devin Booker and Kevin frickin' Durant on the same team.
Yeah, but you need depth,
But it's not a championship roster right now. So there needs to be...
Shane wants Alex Caruso, and I would be here for it. Give me a swaggy white boy in the Valley. I mean, hey, first off, Trade Machine Tuesdays. PHNX Suns every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Must-see TV at this point now. But yeah.
I'm interested to see what they do with this roster. It's going to be something else because
they just got to do.
What is more true and more consistent than Kevin Durant's jump shot? Johnny Venerable getting nachos.
Oh man, what a guy! What a child at heart.
Everyone's having a great time here at the BetMGM Sportsbook. You can catch us out here every first Friday of the month. We're also going to be doing a cornhole tournament tonight. We're super excited about. So
we're already going. # Team Lightskin. Saul and I undefeated so far. You know what it is.
To wrap this conversation up, I'm still sad about Monty. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know people disagree so heavily with that because the track record is the track record, but I just I have this weird Monty Williams was like my childhood baby blanket, security blanket type of relationship, emotional connection to him. I don't know, but I'm just I'm so unsteady and I'm so unsure. And I think I'm so unsteady and I'm so unsure because I feel the pressure of the timeline of the window and it makes me so nervous. Yeah. And I don't feel like the Suns have time to make adjustments based off of the timeline. They have to get it right away. Yeah, the margin 100%. For error is so small.
Which is why you had to fire Monty.
But that's why it makes me nervous making such a big change as a head coach because there's so much more room for error that I'm scared. I'm scared. But oh goodness, what can you do anyways? I'm kind of wound up. I'm kind of scared. Yeah. So wait before we do this.
Oh, yes.
I saw something on Twitter.
This is good.
I saw something on Twitter that literally made me die laughing. I could not believe it. Funny. This popped up, and I almost fell out of my seat. LaJackie on Twitter saying, these two MFers are really head coaches of 2 Arizona sports teams. And it's the
Joe Gatto one is so spot on of Frank Vogel.
It's the two guys from Impractical Jokers. Yeah, Murr and Joe. And obviously Murr looks like Jonathan Gannon, and Joe looks exactly like Frank Vogel. It's actually kind of scary.
So good.
And I just I almost fell out of my seat laughing because that was never a connection I would have made in my head. But now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. That is all I see now.
The Frank Vogel one I had thought of before, but the Murray one I hadn't thought of, so now that's going to be stuck in my head every time I see him.
I could not believe that. I was like, wow, that is unreal. And like I said, I will never be able to unsee it. So thank you so much, LaJackie, for pointing that out because I will never be able to look at the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals or the head coach of the Phoenix Suns the same way ever again. All right. Even though I'm scared, I feel like I can take a little break. I can chill out because I'm going to pop an OGs.
Oh, I'm popping a few tonight. I got to get on a flight. Knock myself out.
Ooh, sleep on the plane. Mm-hmm. I think it's.
Oh, knocked out.
I think it's.
I thought Bubble Chain was coming.
I don't think you're allowed to fly with that.
You can fly with it in your system.
Yeah, but you can't pack it. You can't take it, right? Is that a thing?
Legally speaking, do not take gummies on a plane. It is a federal offense. Legally
we are not advising you to do that.
You cannot do it.
But
legally speaking,
you can take it before you fly, and I recommend you do because I get the worst flight anxiety. I can't fly. I'm a control freak, and the fact that someone else is in charge of my life for however long I'm on that airplane makes me so nervous.
Yeah,
I can't handle it. So
I feel you. Listen, no. OGs, I'm not even joking. OGs have been, ever since they became a sponsor of PHNX, they have been mandatory travel equipment. I make sure I have my passport and I make sure I have my OGs because I get so damn anxious on planes. It calms me down. Last time I got on the flight after I took OGs, I was out before we took off and I slept through takeoff. It was crazy.
Yeah. So if you want to be like Shawn and take an OGs before you fly, head on to your local dispensary and pick up a bag of OGs. My favorite, personally, is their Happy Balance, their Strawberries and Cream Happy Balance, because it's a CBD and a THC 101 ratio gummy, and just good vibes all around, you know?
OGs is all about good vibes.
But they also have a mixed bag now. They put their fruit flavors and their cream flavors in the same bag. Genius.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with that.
What did Jose get arrested for? What did he always get arrested for?
Taking it to the airport.
Taking me to the airport. Yeah, see? Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying. Legally speaking, do not do that.
Do not do that.
Marijuana and THC is federally illegal still.
It is a federal crime.
So when you're at a federal facility, I don't know, an airport.
Or the Grand Canyon. You can't smoke weed at Grand Canyon.
Yep. You can't do that. Wait, you can't smoke weed at national parks?
Mm-mm.
Whoa.
Federal property.
Left field.
People are breaking that rule all the time.
Gilbert,
people are also breaking the plane rule, too, all the time.
Gilbert, are you talking about
Gilbert
Joe
saying
Gatto?
except on Spirit, they don't give a F. That is hilarious.
Okay.
Spirit is like the
Spirit's
ghetto airlines.
Spirit's not TSA. They're not out there just controlling what you get on the plane.
But you know the joke about Spirit
I feel
Airline.
you.
Like, they're the bottom of the barrel.
Spirit, if the joke would probably be that Spirit, you could probably light one up in the bathroom with Spirit wouldn't care.
Spirit is so elite.
Yeah, it is low key.
Cheap flights are great. We're gonna get in trouble. Someone's gonna be like, "This podcast told me I could take my weed
No,
on
I
you."
have said
Please don't do it.
10 times. It is federally illegal. Do not
Also,
take it on a plane.
Don't sniff the gas at Circle K.
Don't do that. Oh my God. Definitely don't sniff gas at Circle K.
I don't know where we've been.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Pink lemonade. The pink lemonade flavor from OG's is dropping on June 21st. It is the month of June, by the way, which is actually insane. This year has gone by so fast.
And it's especially crazy when you consider the standings in Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Oh my God, we're talking about a little bit. Check out their pink lemonade flavor. It's perfect for summer. Like summer
I can't
pink
wait
lemonade.
for that to drop. Oh my God.
Check out OG's online at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at ogsbrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary. You must be 21 years or older to enjoy. I can't believe how far this has devolved. Also, before we get into talking about the Arizona Diamondbacks, Game Time, you guys. Game Time is it. They are the ones. They are him. They are them. They are them. They are them. I love Game Time. It is the best ticketing platform and the fastest growing ticketing platform for a reason, because they have the lowest ticket prices for anything that you want to go to that requires a ticket. Sporting events, concerts, a parking ticket for wherever you need to park your car. They've got it, and they've got it at low prices, especially if you like to
Shane
procrastinate.
just looked at me and he was like, really? Yeah, they do have parking passes.
Yeah, I bought one for a Cardinals game one time, and it was way cheaper than whatever they were charging out here at State Farm Stadium. My God. So go to Game Time. You got to check them out, you guys. They have super, super cheap tickets. And the best part of it is if you download the app and you use promo code PHNX, they're going to give you $20 for your first purchase, which is awesome. The other thing that I love about Game Time is they make it so easy to find tickets in your area when it comes, especially to Arizona sports. If you go to their website right now and you're in Arizona, it'll already kind of do like the weird FBI thing and know where you're located, which I think is bizarre. But
I mean, it's something you let them do when you download the app. They specifically ask you.
The FBI is on us.
They ask you, would you like to share your location? And you say yes when you download the app.
Whatever, the FBI is always watching your phone.
Okay, well, that's neither here. That might be true.
But anyways, they've got Diamondbacks tickets. They've got Mercury tickets. They've got Rattlers tickets.
I still need to go to a Rattlers game.
They've got Phoenix Rising tickets. They've got all the things Arizona sports, and it's all in an easy-to-find section, which is so user-friendly, and they highlight the cheapest tickets available. Do you see that $9?
Yeah, for the
$9
that
for
is the Braves.
The Braves.
The Arizona.
Yes.
I almost said the Arizona Braves. The Atlanta Braves.
Crazy.
Ronald Acuna.
Your 2024 MLB Championship Braves.
Your 2024 MLB favorite.
No, they're going to win the 2024 championship.
They're the favorite currently. The Arizona Diamondbacks are going to upset
the Arizona Diamondbacks are winning 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028.
I can live with that.
But the Braves are winning 2024.
I mean, the Braves are currently the favorite.
Because they're going to trade for Freddie Freeman at the deadline.
If you want to see
crazy.
them.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can only see them for $9. You can see them for only $9.
For $9 whopping dollars.
I also haven't been to a Rattlers game before. Big in-state rivalry. Big in-state rivalry. Northern Arizona Wranglers.
I don't know. I'm sorry, Rattlers. I love you guys, but I cannot attend your games because the cannon gives me PTSD. Like, I can't sit there.
You PTSD like you've been in a fucking war. What does that mean?
It scares the crap out of me.
That's not PTSD. That's just you being a baby.
Every time they score, they fire a cannon, and every single time I poop my pants. It's terrifying. It's horrible.
Again, all you problems.
I can't.
I guess if you're pooping your pants, that becomes my problem too.
But if you want to go to a Rattlers game and you're not afraid of a cannon, download the Game Time app. Use promo code PHNX. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets. Lowest prices guaranteed. That's going to get so out of hand. I just know that's going to go so bad. All right. Shawn.
Yeah.
There's Arizona Diamondbacks. Wagon.
They're a wagon.
They're the best team in the National League.
They might be the best team in baseball, but yeah, they're damn straight the best team in the National League. That's for damn sure.
Smokes. It is June. It is the 2nd of June, 2023, in the year of our Lord and Savior, and they are first place in the National League.
The year of our Lord and Savior.
Corbin Carroll.
Corbin Carroll.
Yeah. It is also June 2nd, and just for my baseball fans, the Washington Nationals are tied with the Philadelphia Phillies. Fun fact.
It's also 6 p.m. on June 2nd. Georgetown still sucks.
And Georgetown does still suck. And Julio Rodriguez is still an international sex
symbol. You guys, the Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks are really good at baseball.
Really good at baseball. They are the freaking first place National League. Are you kidding me?
First place. It is June. They are first place in the National League. They obviously have a tied record with the Dodgers, but they have the head-to-head. They have the advantage over them.
We're not talking about them.
They are despite having the same record, the first place team in the National League on June 2nd. And they are playing the Braves, so they could really open up that gap this weekend. But yeah, man, it is. Oh my God. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It was let the balloons drop, the confetti go. The D-backs are here, man. They are. I think we've been here long enough. They're legit.
From the bottom to the top, baby. I'm so excited that we're here at this point in the season. They just completed a 4-game sweep of the Colorado Rockies. It's the first time that they've swept the Rockies since 2002. A 4-game sweep. Yeah, first 4-game sweep against the Rockies since 2002, which is wild. In 2002, I was math. Hold on. 2002.
Math.
I was 5. Thank you. I was going to count my fingers. I went to school for journalism, not math. I also went to ASU.
Yeah, you also went to kindergarten.
I was 5 years old in 2002.
Can I show you guys a costume that I wore when I was 5 at the end of the show?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Okay. Pull it up. So, yeah, I was 5 years old the last time the Arizona Diamondbacks swept the Rockies in 4 games.
I was either 3 or 4, depending on the time of the year. We talked about this a little bit on PHNX earlier. I was modeling clothes as a baby. I was a baby model.
Oh, look at you. Little Gerber baby?
Yeah. I said exactly what I said on DBACKS. I got real ugly there for a while when I'm back.
Were you Oshkosh Bagosh
No,
baby?
I think I modeled for some local clothing stores, and I think I also modeled for Fisher Price. I think.
Was that an Oshkosh?
Oshkosh Bagosh.
Was that a thing? That was a store, right?
That's a store, yeah. It's still a store, I think.
I was a Children's Place child. The Children's Place, the clothes store.
Yeah.
That was my
I don't know where my clothes came from, but I know I modeled
them. So yeah, I mean, they just swept the Colorado Rockies in 4 games. They are top of the National League. Corbin Carroll was the one that walked it off. He is a front runner for NL Rookie of the Year.
He's the front runner. He's the favorite right now.
The front runner for NL Rookie of the Year. I can't believe what I'm watching when I watch the Arizona Diamondbacks play baseball.
No, it's unbelievable, and they keep finding different ways to win. Their pitchers show up sometimes. Sometimes their offense goes crazy. Last night, their offense was dead, or yesterday morning, I guess, afternoon. Their offense was non-existent for the majority of that game. Yeah, but they showed up when it mattered. They're finding different ways to win, and that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. They definitely need to. They're not all the way there. They're not all the way perfect, obviously, but that's okay because I think personally they're ahead of the timeline that I set for them in my mind of where they were going to be by now. Obviously, not being able to score with runners in scoring position is a little scary. Bullpen can be a little scary. Starting pitching can be a little scary.
The bullpen's good. Hey, no.
I'm not ready to put my faith in the bullpen yet, especially this one.
Well, yeah. I mean, remember where we were last year. If the D-backs bullpen had been league average, the D-backs were a playoff team last year. So they didn't need to be like that much greater to really, or that good to for this team to be really good. And they are just they're doing what they need to do. Especially recently, they've had some guys that really deal in the bullpen. Yeah. And they've gotten some really good starts out of some of their young guys. Tommy Henry, I think 7 scores that time or something like that. Like he went crazy. Like some of the young guys they're doing it. They're doing the damn thing.
Yeah, I think one thing that I really enjoyed this season more than last season is last season the Diamondbacks could not play short ball to save a life. It was either they hit a home run or they didn't score at all. And
that's how they make their money now.
But it was frustrating because can we just get runners on base?
Yeah,
can we get some runners on base? And even when they did get runners on base and they couldn't score the runners that were in scoring position, and this has kind of become a theme for the Diamondbacks for the last couple of years. But I digress because we're not talking about the bad things. We're only talking about the good things. But yeah, I mean, last season they couldn't play the short ball. Like it was either a home run or they didn't score at all. And this year they're playing an exciting version of offense. And I'm kind of walking back my original thoughts on the shift, because if this is the result of not having a shift and they are playing,
you were anti-banning the shift?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I'm such a strategy nerd, and I loved the extra element of strategy that added to the game.
Well, I like the extra element of strategy that getting rid of the shift has added back to the game with like bunting, especially a team like this.
Yeah,
and like you were saying, like last year was boring. It's not this year, man. They are doing exactly that. They're winning, playing small ball. They're winning by stealing bases, by Jake McCarthy's bunted a few times, and he's been good since he's come back from the AAA, by the way.
Yeah.
Like they're finding, like I said, different ways to win, and that is what's really encouraging. Like you put them in almost any kind of situation, they have a chance of winning that game.
Yeah, and last year's Diamondbacks were so predictable. Either they were going to hit a home run, or they weren't going to score at all, or they would have a small lead in the game, and the bullpen would come in, and they would.
Or they would have an 8-run lead in the game, and the bullpen would still somehow.
Like either the bullpen was going to lose it for them, or they were going to lose because they couldn't score runs, and that was it.
Yeah,
and that was the Diamondbacks last year. And even though that was them, they were still a little bit competitive. But this year, it feels like a brand new team, even though it's a lot of the core pieces that they've been building around, and they've been like working for getting all on one roster together, and it's just so cool to see. And I'm so excited about watching them because this feels like, I don't want to jinx it, I'm knocking on wood, but it feels legit. It feels real.
No, I mean,
like they're doing it the right way.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to be careful of what you say, like, feels legit. Like, am I saying they should be favorites to win the World Series? No. Do I think they're going to win the World Series this year? No. Could they? But at this point, do I think they are a playoff team? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, they have shown that they can beat good teams.
Which is wild. It's June 2nd. We're talking about them being a playoff team.
Yeah, and I mean, like, look at the National League is nothing crazy. The Dodgers are not them. They're not the
I
mean, they've been dealing with a lot of the Padres. Obviously,
if
have
I was
really,
a Padres
really
fan,
struggled.
I would revolt.
Oh, you consider the money, but I mean, other side of the country, the Mets spent a bunch of money. They haven't been going crazy. The Phillies obviously are struggling. The Braves are obviously really good, but even they struggled. They lost the series to the Oakland Athletics, who are the worst team in baseball.
It might as well be a AAA baseball team.
Literally, and then the NL Central is a complete waste of time. No one in that division is good. So.
They have a shot at making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, but I mean, and if they make the playoffs, I'm not going to say they're going to, but they could. Like this, there's nobody in this league that is world beaters. This isn't the 100-win Dodgers.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's going to win 100 games in the NL this year. Yeah. So if the D-backs manage to make the playoffs, which I think they will, they have a very high percentage of doing it right now. That's not a team I want to play.
Yeah. Jan Paul Edward De Dios, we are like on the same page, I think, all the time. I think you and I share some brain cells, which is because he commented, sustainable is the word. That is the key here. Yeah. Sustainability. Can they sustain this? Obviously, baseball is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you don't want to get too excited and put the cart before the horse, because sustainability is what it's all about. You know, we're still a long ways away from October. And so sustainability is definitely the key. But the other part of this team that makes it exciting is they are competitive before the trade deadline.
Yeah, man. They're putting themselves in a position.
They're putting themselves in a position to be buyers for the first time in probably since 2002 when I was 5.
I can't even. Man, that would be fun. But yeah, man, they are, and honestly, when we went to the opening day when we were at Chase Field.
Yep.
Derek Hall was consistently trying to pump the brakes on expectations.
Yeah.
He people were talking about 90 wins, and he was saying that seems like too much.
Yeah.
Right. Does it still, Derek? Does it still? This team is good.
Good.
And
being buyers at the trade deadline is a freaking dream come true.
And it's clear what they need too.
Yeah.
They need another. If they're trying to win a World Series, they need another starting pitcher. They probably need to do a little more for their bullpen. There's things that they can shore up for sure, but it is clear.
Gilbert in the comments saying we need an arm or two at the deadline.
Yeah, 100%. But on the other side of that, this isn't the Suns, where if you don't do it this year, you don't got a chance.
Yeah,
this team is set up to be good for 5-10 years. I mean, the Atlanta Braves have shown the blueprint. And they have been good for 5 years now. Yeah, like 5 years now.
Sustainability.
Yeah,
they're built to be good for a while, which I love. But also, I don't want to see Mike Hazen do anything crazy at the trade deadline either. Stay the course, stay the timeline.
Corbin, right?
Don't get wrapped up in a crazy freaking contract for a veteran starting pitcher that's going to suck in a year. Don't do that. Please just stay the course, stay the deadline. Don't overspend. Be careful. And I know he will be, hopefully, the Madison Bumgarner thing and the Zach Greinke thing.
I think he learned his lesson.
I'm a little scared. I think he learned his lesson too. So as long as Mike Hazen can stay the course during the deadline and not do anything absolutely out of left field and spend a bunch of money that he shouldn't be spending, I think I'm going to be really stoked about this team. Yeah. The other thing that you mentioned that I love, and I know we're a little bit over, so I'll wrap things up here, but I swear to God, Shawn, there is nothing more I love in this life than watching teams like the San Diego Padres and the New York Mets struggle, because my God,
Shawn's camera just went black, so I'm going to show.
Okay.
I'm going to show you a picture of me as Zorro.
I'm also just going to continue my rant. Oh, you're cute.
You look like a witch.
No,
where's the mask?
Zorro
has a mask.
Yeah, Zorro does have a mask.
Oh, it's probably somewhere. I have a mustache though.
I see. That's nice.
Yeah, there you go. He's got a mustache.
All right, sorry, continue.
You can just put me back on screen and I can just rant with him next to me without him next to me. Oh, he's back. There he is. My favorite thing in the whole world is watching teams like the San Diego Padres and the New York Mets struggle, who just threw money at players and just were
as a baseball fan, I want to see the Mets be good, to be quite honest with you. But
no.
What the Mets being good doesn't do anything with us.
I want all these big market teams who just have unlimited money to spend because there's no cap in baseball, that are big market teams that get to flaunt their checkbooks every year and be like, this big player, you want to come play, we're going to buy you. You want to come play, we're going to buy you.
Wouldn't you rather them be good and then go beat that team's ass in the playoffs?
No, I want them to suck, because I love watching big market teams suck, because there are ways for small market teams like the Diamondbacks, like the Braves, like Oakland back when, like the Astros way back when.
The Atlanta Braves?
They're small market, yes. Yes, they are.
They're not the Yankees, but they're not small market.
Yes, they are. Watching them play Moneyball and build Tampa Bay Rays, watching them play Moneyball and be strategic with their team's roster through what is the word I'm looking for? Like untraditional methods, because they can't just throw money at people. I love it. I love it so much. And if you're a big market team that is just throwing money at players, I hate you. And I just want you to know that I hate you.
The Atlanta Braves are in the top third of markets in the league.
I consider them small market. But anyways, I
consider the sky red.
I'm so excited watching big market teams that throw money at players struggle, and it makes my little heart so happy, because there is a way to win, and watching teams like the Diamondbacks succeed, I love it, because we don't have all the money in the world to spend, but there's still hope. Like, we know that we can still be good, and we can be good for a long time, because we have to go through absolute 5 years of misery to rebuild a farm system and get the players that we need to grow and to be here for the long haul. And they did it. They're at the precipice of watching all of that struggle and misery pay off, and they are not outspending a third of these Major League Baseball teams. And it's just so cool to watch. So I absolutely love it.
Well, I mean, the craziest part about the San Diego Padres is that they are like one of the smallest markets in the country, but they spend like a big market, which is them failing in particular is really, really good, because when you look at other small market teams and you're looking at the other owners like, well, why aren't you spending the money? The Padres are doing it. Well, that's why. Because we don't have the money to make that investment. And when you do make that investment, it's not worth it. So, the Padres particularly, and also them making the division, I am very much relishing in them failing.
I just love it. Before we wrap up, they are going to go into a series against the Braves, and I think this is gut check time.
Oh, yeah, man.
The Braves are, I mean, the Diamondbacks are a wagon. The Braves are a wagon.
The Braves
and a
are the
horse.
World Series favorite. They're currently the World Series favorite on BetMGM. That kind of went right over my head. The wagon and horse.
The Diamondbacks are a wagon, and the Braves are a wagon and horse.
Yeah, they got it all. Yeah, no, but they are, like I said, the current favorite to win the World Series on BetMGM.
They are so good.
But like I said, also, they just lost a series to the worst team in baseball, so they're coming in with maybe
spirits a little low.
Maybe confidence a little shaken, or they might be coming in with it being like, well, we got to bounce back. So I mean, obviously, regardless, it's not a team you can take for granted. That's for damn sure. Like you have to put out your best effort.
Either way, it's going to be a good gut check moment for the Diamondbacks.
100%.
Like, we're going to see how we stack up against a World Series contending team,
and not just on the field. I think you'll see that with Torrey too. Something that Derek was talking about a lot is we don't want to see him do some. I don't want to see Nick Ahmed play a single game of this series.
Please,
I don't want to see Pavin Smith play a single game of this series. And if he does, it sure as hell better not be leading off. Jose Herrera shouldn't see a single game behind the plate unless something happens to Gabby. Like, I want to see your best players play every single game of this series. I want you to go out there like this is a playoff series and show that you are the best team in the National League.
Yes.
If that's what you really believe you are.
Yes. Preach.
And there's been times this year where I do think that Torrey has coached a little maybe emotionally or not necessarily doing it because it thinks he gives them a best chance to win that game, but for a variety of reasons. This is not a series to do that. You need to go and put your best foot forward and win.
Yeah, we need that child sounder that's like, yes, log, yes, when Shawn's preaching.
We don't want no devils in that house.
You better
we want
preach.
The law.
The next 3 games against the Atlanta Braves is the World Series. This is my World Series.
Well,
you go out there and you give me your best lineup you could possibly
100%.
give me, and you play like this is
I want Geraldo Perdomo at shortstop every damn day. If I see Nick Ahmed on the field for any reason other than he's stretching before the game and doing the national anthem,
I'm leaving.
Be sick to my stomach.
Torrey Lovello, I need you. I have gone to bat for you year after year. When people are calling for your head and saying you should be fired, I'm like, no. Torrey is the man. Do not make me eat my words this series by putting Nick Ahmed out on that field. I swear all things holy. Torrey Lovello, you better treat this next series like a World Series, and I want to see you manage this team like they are going to win it all because, good Lord, I want to watch them play some good baseball against this team.
Gilbert is summing up what I was saying earlier. The field is not scary.
Nope.
The window is open. The Dodgers, the Braves have shown that they have vulnerabilities, and all it takes is a team to get hot in September, October, and then the Dodgers are then a team that you didn't expect. Yeah. Like, hey, the Philadelphia Phillies, mind you, are in the World Series.
You want to hear the lineup for tonight?
Yes, sir.
Perdomo lead off.
Oh, whoa, what?
Marte 2, Carroll 3, Seawalk 4, Gurriel 5, Rivera at 6, Gabby Moreno 7.
And no Josh Rojas?
Nick Ahmed.
Fuck.
At 8.
Okay.
And
what position are you playing?
Short.
I'm fine with that because, hold on. Listen, have you seen what Josh Rojas has done over the last month?
Yeah,
He's been one of the worst players in baseball, to be quite honest with you, offensively. So I'm fine with that. Nick Ahmed is better than Josh Rojas.
I feel like the wind was just
is the last.
Okay, that's fine. Geraldo Perdomo leading off. Sign me up.
Yeah,
that is an electric factory.
That top 5 is probably perfect in my opinion.
I
love it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Perdomo, Marte, Carroll, Walker. Inject it.
Nick Ahmed being down farther in the lineup and him playing shortstop, I guess is fine.
Listen, I will be honest. At this point, I would probably take Nick Ahmed than what Josh Rojas has been over the last month.
Yeah, if I had to pick. Yeah. Thanks for taking all the wind out of my sails, Shane.
No, but you got me juiced. You got me juiced with that Geraldo Perdomo leadoff, dude.
I'm so anti-Nick Ahmed.
I'm going to bet all the bases for Geraldo Perdomo. No RBIs, though. The Risk King is leading off.
Risk King is leading off. You love to see it. What would you consider?
No, you don't love to see it because then you won't be Risk King anymore.
Yeah, that's true. What would you consider a success? 2 out of 3?
1 out of 3.
1 out of 3?
This is the best team. This is the best team in baseball, in my opinion.
Okay.
Or the best team in the National League, at least. I think they're, like I said, favorites to win the World Series. Yeah. If you can win one of the
one game,
if you can take one of these games and at least be competitive in the others, I'll be fine with that. I think they should win 2.
Yeah.
At least based on the pitching matchups, you have Merrill tonight. And Gallen on Sunday, and so you kind of avoid having your 2 good starters go up against their stud. It's Spencer Strider, who's on Saturday.
Merrill Kelly versus Charlie Morton.
Yeah.
Ryan Nelson versus Spencer Strider, and then Michael Soroka versus Zach Gallen. So 2 of 3 are
based on pitching matchups. You should win 2 of 3, but obviously there's some studs. This is the best probably hitting team in the National League. The Atlanta Braves. So.
I'm going for gold. Give me 2 out of 3, baby.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Well, like I said, I think 1 against this team and being competitive in the other 2 is a success.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I agree.
If you take 2, like I said, you put the league on notice at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Let's go, Diamondbacks.
Let's do it.
Let's see it. I want to see your best baseball this weekend, which we are going to be in person for tomorrow at the Diamondbacks Takeover. Me, because I am not going out of town. If you haven't gotten your tickets for the Diamondbacks Takeover yet, go to PHNX.com/events. Grab a ticket. We're going to watch batting practice. We're going to the 4 Peak draft room. First beer is on us, and then we're going to watch the game tomorrow. And they're doing a giveaway at the game. It's a tribal hat, which is super dope. So you get a hat, a free beer. You get to watch batting practice, and you get to hang out with all your diehard friends. There's still tickets available. Go grab them right now. I'm super excited for that. Before we close out the show, last week, Shawn said something that was preposterous. About Manscaped.
I don't even remember what I said.
I said that the reads are a little awkward for me, and you're like, "There's nothing awkward about men's grooming," and I'm like, "Nah," and you're like, "I'll make it not awkward." So, in honor of Shawn saying that, I'm going to make him eat his words, and I am going to read the Manscaped read.
I'm hyped. No. Let's go.
I'm reading the Manscaped read this.
Yes, I've been waiting for this. I've been asking for you to do it
because I'm going to show you all once and for all how uncomfortable these reads are.
You can't make me uncomfortable. Go.
Strap in, everyone. All right, Manscaped. I have a question. What's more American than a bald eagle?
A bald set of balls.
No. The 4th of July is almost here, and that means a couple of things. Barbecues, pool parties, and last but not least, glizzies.
Yeah.
And it just so happens.
Glizzies are going to make the King Glizzy Goblin uncomfortable?
Let me get through this. And it just so happens that the sponsor of today's show, Manscaped, are making sure that all you glizzy gladiators across the nation are groomed for battle for America's birthday. From sea to shining sea, over 8 million Pew Patriots worldwide who trust Manscaped with their exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with our code PHNX at manscaped.com. Talk about the American dream. Come on. Glizzy Gladiators and Pube Patriots.
That Pew Patriots is crazy. Jose saying, thank goodness that didn't go in another direction. What direction could that have gone in that was any better? She was talking about shaving somebody's nuts. Like, what are we talking about? How could it have gone any better?
All right.
I loved it, though. I'm so happy you did it.
I'm not done. I'm not done.
My
it's
bad.
Still going.
My bad.
It's only right to start with America's favorite, the Performance Package 4.0. You get the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, and Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all of your goodies. If you want to get in on this amazing Performance Package 4.0, again, all you have to do is take your freedom bells to the next level by going to manscaped.com and get 20% off with free shipping with our discount code PHNX. Get your independence back this Independence Day and unlock your confidence with Manscaped. Now I'm done.
Unbelievable. You made that so much harder on yourself than you needed to.
That hurt. My grandmother and my mom listen to the show, and they're going to have to listen to me talk about Glizzy Gladiators and Pew Patriots.
Well, you didn't have to do it, first off.
Yes, I did. If you're in the comments watching the show right now, please tell me that wasn't uncomfortable. That was uncomfortable for everyone.
Oh, okay. It wasn't uncomfortable for me, first off. You just made it hella weird for no reason.
It's uncomfy. It's uncomfy.
I still think a bald set of nuts is more American than a bald eagle or the 4th of July.
That's wild. That is
the most American thing ever.
That is one of the wildest things that's ever come out of your mouth. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Phoenix Sports Podcast.
No, it's not.
We're sorry it's a weird time, but the breaking news, again, we had to do it, and you guys are still here for us. We love you so much. You guys are the absolute best. Jose, Jan, Daniel, Jacob, Chris, Charles Woodall Pike, all you guys, you are all the goats. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. We are normally live 12:30s on Fridays. We'll let you know if we're not, but we should be at 12:30.
But I'm going to just tell you right now, the first Friday of every month, the show is going to be at a different time than 12:30. Yeah. It's just going to have to be, but
normally 12:30s.
Normally 12:30.
If you enjoyed the show, especially my Manscaped read, please go give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts because we need them. And we would appreciate it.
We got to fight those KC fans still?
I know, they're still coming for us. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you next Friday at 12:30, possibly. Maybe not. We'll let you know. Bye!